of March this month to give us a full backing for going to the proximity talks. Then when Senator Mitchell came to see us on 8th of March, 2 weeks ago, we gave him a written answer, positive response to the proximity talks. And we told him, sir, proximity talks could be the most advanced tool of decision making. And we agreed with him that we will focus on two issues: borders and security related issues. We know very well that there will be no agreement without an agreement on all issues, including refugees, including end of conflict, end of claim, Jerusalem. But I really believe that defining the borders on 67 with agreed swaps will be the key to all other issues. And without that, and this has been one of the main handicaps for all the negotiations we've been through. Nation states are defined by their borders. There are two nations today on earth without borders. One is there on the ground, called Israel, and one is not there, supposed to be there, called Palestine. And the one that's there is eating the land of the one that's supposed to be there. So once and for all, we need to define the borders between Israel and Palestine as June 4, 1967, with agreed swaps. And to those of you who don't know numbers, the total built-up areas of settlements in the West Bank and East Jerusalem, Israeli settlements, in the beginning of 2010, in accordance with a map provided to us by a country that has a satellite on space, is 1.2% of the size. And I hope that we can achieve this goal with Senator Mitchell, because if he thinks that 2% is too little, what we offer, and 6.5 what the Israelis offer is too large, what is the percentage? Because that's the key. And security-related issues, Palestine will not be like Britain, or Uganda, or Nigeria, or Jordan, or Egypt, or Canada. We will be a country with limited arms. We may not have a navy, or air force, or tanks. But also we need security. Because when the Israelis say security for Israelis, we say security for Israelis and Palestinians. We're the ones who need security. And I will not say anything in the historical perspective other than that we have chosen the European Union to be the third party. And we did not choose Europe because we are in love with Europe. We chose Europe because of the geopolitics, because of the history, and because of the future. And it's time for Europe, we believe, as Palestinians, to be, as much as they are the payer, to be the player. And we are determined to make him the player. They deserve it. And that's our choice. It's our country. We're not asking Israel to take a single European soldier, or Jordan, or Egypt. But in the state of Palestine, we have made the choice that a third party to monitor that we've fully committed and obliged to our agreements will be the European Union. And we have already spoken to the governments of Britain, Germany, France, Italy, and Spain, and they are very, very, very much responsive. And they are there today. They are there today with us in building our institutions, making sure that we build a system of accountability, transparency, the rule of law, women's rights. Palestine will be, but the most important thing to us is how Palestine will be. We don't want to just be another nation. We want to be a nation of accountability, transparency, rule of law, democracy. And that's where Europe is standing shoulder to shoulder with us. And we want Europe to be our third party in monitoring our obligations and helping build with us our our state institutes, security, economics, and otherwise. And I believe this will be the new formula in the Middle East. We're not asking the Europeans to come as a combating force or as a fighting force like they went in Afghanistan or Iraq. We want them as a nation-building, peace-building force. They're not going to be, we don't want them to be a combating force. We know at the end of the day that this region, that's the number one element of stabilizing this region. The second element of defeating extremism in our region is democracy in the Arab world. And anyone says Arabs are not ready for democracy is a racist. Period. We are sick and tired of the West, Saddam Hussein being a good dictator when he waged a crazy war with Iran for 8 years, and then he becomes bad dictator in your dictionaries when he ventures into Kuwait. And I don't want to give the sequence of list of the way your leaders in the West treat us in the Middle East. Democracy in the Arab world is a must, and it's parallel to nation building of Palestine. And once again, very simple. Anyone who says Arabs are not ready for democracy is a racist. These are the real challenges that face us with the region as a whole. Arabs need democracy, wants democracy, they have come of age, and the frustration and pains in many parts of the Arab world and the Muslim world is due to the fact that democracy is not being practiced. And I'm sick and tired of hearing some Arab colleagues of mine saying that democracy cannot be imposed, cannot be imported, cannot be imposed from outside. Doesn't have to be inside, outside. Democracy is democracy. Democracy reflects the dignity of the individual. And a dignified individual can build a dignified nation. It's as simple as that. So anyone who wants to defeat the forces of extremism in our region should focus on the nation building of Palestine, to live side by side in peace and security with the state of Israel, and secondly, to have democracy in the Arab world. We have a problem as Palestinians today, a major problem. We have a coup d'etat before we become a nation, while we're still under occupation. We have a Palestinian movement called Hamas, which won the elections fairly and squarely, and which formed a government fairly and squarely, which made me and my party the minority in our parliament fairly and squarely. We have this movement, while being the Prime Minister, the Interior Minister, waging a coup d'etat in Gaza. A military coup d'etat against themselves, against us, against everything. Democracy did not fail in Palestine. Democracy worked in Palestine. Hamas won the election. Everything was transferred to them in peaceful and orderly manner. Democracy succeeded in Palestine. Hamas failed. Not democracy. I remember in 2006, I was elected to represent the Jericho and Jordan Valley constituency in a one-seat constituency for Fatah movement. And when Mr. Haniyeh came to our parliament to submit his government, I was chosen by the minority, Fatah, my party, to respond to him. I told him, sir, when he submitted his government, we may vote against your government. And that's democracy. And you have a very